women face a variety of pitfalls. They're the stylistic pitfalls. How do I present myself? How do I do that? Because women tend to be, I think, more emotionally aware and emotionally conversational with themselves than men. How do I navigate my own presence with others in the world of business, and how do I do that in a way that feels like it is, authentic for me, true to me? I think that's a real challenge. I think there are enormous, small, everyday, practical challenges. I'm still struck by them, and I've been working with business people for almost 25 years, and with predominantly male business people. And I'll just give you a couple of examples that every woman that's digging around on Big Think will relate to. And one is that I still can't sit in a meeting with men and not have someone pick up an idea that I've ventured earlier in the meeting and say, "Hey, I've got a great idea." And every woman I know talks about this. Women tend to have a more difficult time at the table, all decibel levels being equal, being heard. They tend to get interrupted more often. They tend to be asked to do things, and this is at all levels. This is at all levels, perhaps except the very, very top of a big organization. They tend to be asked to, get coffee or Xerox or, make, fulfill an important administrative task before men do, and really in ways sometimes that aren't really appropriate for the content and the caliber of the meeting. So there are lots and lots of daily, just logistical challenges. I think there's a very important emotional and mental challenge, and that is that if you think about the broad landscape of American business, there aren't that many women, right, out there on the stage talking on a regular basis. There are a few, terrific women, that are prominent. I think of Patty Sellers at Fortune, or Ann Moore at Time, or Andrea Young at Avon, Indira Nooyi at Pepsi. So there are a handful, maybe two fistfuls, full of really prominent, top-notch women out there. But there probably aren't very many more than that, at least that we get regular access to through the media, or that we have personal access to. And so I think the issue of role models, right, indirect, distant, even mentors, is a huge issue for women starting their own businesses or climbing the ladder of business. I know at the Harvard Business School, I have women stream through my office in my second-year MBA class talking about their search for women role models, or women that they can learn from, even indirectly. And so I think that piece is a very, very big deal. And I think finally, there's an issue of what does it mean to be a woman, that's very, very ambitious in the business world. And that, that bumps up against these other issues of stereotypes and emotional pitfalls. But that question is really not very well defined in our society right now. I mean, there aren't even, a small array of good answers to that question. And there's a lot of still unspoken and more verbal discomfort by lots of different people about powerful women in business at any level. So it's interesting to see what the end result, from my experience, is of all these different kinds of pitfalls, and what I see in the very near term for women in business. What I see is that a lot of very successful women end up starting their own businesses. And guess what? They often hire and mentor and nurture a lot of other women. They create their village, right? They create their pride of elephants, if you will. And they take their power and they go and they laugh and they put their lipstick on at the end of meetings and they claim, financial gain and market influence, and they do it with great aplomb and freedom. And so I think we'll see more and more of that. You see it at the very small level. You just need to spend a little bit of time in any local chamber of commerce to see women running their own businesses with lots of other women. And lots of working mothers doing this because it gives them freedom. But I think we're going to see that more and more in terms of businesses that emerge onto the national stage, or businesses that emerge into a very powerful position. And then I think when that is ready to give way and the world is ready to integrate yet a little more, we'll have a more textured tapestry of women at the top of companies. So I don't I like to say that I don't believe, or I don't put much credence in work-life balance. I think we have one life. For many, many women and men, work is a very important part of that. I think for most people, work and how it makes us feel and what it provides for us and how it allows us or doesn't allow us to realize our dreams is very, very significant. And so I think we need a recasting of the issue of work in its place. I think we need to take our cues, if you will, perhaps from the iPod shuffle and from the incredible way in which our days, our music, our minds, our computers, our shopping, our working habits, our eating habits, in the way in which we're mixing and matching so many things in all these new playlists. We're moving from one thing to the next, right? We read this and then we move over to read this. We use this file and then we use this file. We shop at this store for this and then a very different store for something else. We mix and match, and I think that is what's really happening to our work. And this is happening in many, many different kinds of work, not just a very specific kind of symbolic analyst pursuit. It's happening all over the place, not only because of new flexibility and downsizing in corporate America, but just because of what people are demanding in the way our lives are living. So I think we're going to see a lot more mixing and matching and cutting and pasting. And again, the kind of bellwether of that are the millennials, who, whatever they're doing, are not doing it 9 to 5 and sitting in an office. And they're not doing it the way many people of my generation are doing it, which is we're just tied and tethered and married to our BlackBerry or our smartphone. They're really, intermixing skateboarding and writing a brief, or, working for one of their favorite charities and then running into the office to get something done. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and it's going to be less about balance and more about doing what makes us feel alive and like we're playing to our stronger selves in a variety of new ways. The second, I think, big, if you will, file folder for me around work and life is that in the 12 years since, perhaps 14 years since email really started diffusing rapidly around businesses and eventually right into the homes and right into our laps in our PDAs or our smartphones. In those 14 years, technology has really carried all the power chips. Technology really owns us. We react to our BlackBerries, we react to our inboxes, we react to the vibrating phone, we react to it. It is now driving a huge amount of how millions, perhaps billions of people spend their time day to day. It's driving that at home, it's driving that at work, it's driving that in the car, sometimes driving us to distraction. It's everywhere, and it mostly owns us. So I'm looking forward, as a historian, to the moments when that balance, if you will, here's where balance matters, when the scales of power between technology and its users shift, and we start really thinking about how to use technology for something other than just plowing through our inboxes or hitting reply all. We're not there yet. It's coming, but it's going to take, again, some imagination and some willingness to have a different perspective than just, oh my God, I need to respond right now to this jingle, or this phone ringing, or this email with the red arrow in the left-hand corner. So stay tuned. There's a lot of amazing things that can happen when we reclaim the night, take back the technology night.